Join us today as we visit Mitch here in Hollywood. Say hi, Mitch.
Hello, Tom. Hello, audience.
Hi, Mitch.
Hi, Tom. I'm Mitch Matsey. This is Hollywood, California. We're visiting my bonsai nursery. It's a home nursery. I've been doing bonsai about 18 years, and I got in it from a gift from a farmer's market, forsythia, and then a blue cedar.
You know what year?
Well, 18 years ago. So what is that? 2006, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember which farmer market was it?
Somewhere in Hollywood. I'm not sure which
Okay.
one. No, I didn't get it. It was a birthday present.
Oh, okay. So
it was a forsythia. It had yellow flowers. You don't see forsythias anymore. I want to know about that. Any rate, those were my first trees. They're dead, and they weren't so consequential anyways. But I've always loved cedars, and I love the smell of cedar. In fact, cedar is my favorite species. Although I really like tropicals as well. But
you have a cedar here?
yeah, actually my favorite tree is over here.
Oh, let's look at your favorite tree.
Still in development. It's a blue cedar. I've had this probably 10 years. Originally, I bought this from Ed Clark. I did the styling on this. It's filling in now, and I'll repot it in the winter. But I think this is my favorite tree. I don't know. I love these trees. I always have.
Did you like it because of the coloration, the foliage?
I think maybe the smell is what made me look first. I love the smell of cedar. I always have. And we had cedar wood cabinets and linen chests in my house, in my grandmother's house. And that's what I remember first. And I remember looking at the trees, and I can't remember, it was some nursery maybe in the New England my grandparents took me to, and we saw the trees, and I thought it was magic that was the tree that produced this beautiful wood.
The cedar tree. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
So anyway, that may be why it takes you back to childhood. And so that's my favorite tree. I have some ficuses I also really like, but this is my favorite.
We'll see that a little later.
Okay.
Now, if you had a suggestion for yourself, if you can send a message in a bottle back to yourself, 18 years, back to the past, back to the future here, what would you say to yourself?
I probably would have gone a little slower.
What do you mean?
I bought too much stuff early on, and some of it you need, I think, when you're starting out in order to learn trees to learn on.
Okay.
That aren't necessarily $1,000 trees or good trees or anything like that, but some things you need to learn on. And that was a good thing, but I got too many of them.
But that's all of us. We all do
true.
that.
Yeah.
That's how you learn, though.
Yeah, that is how you learn. But maybe I overdid a little bit. I think maybe some of these trees are good trees, and I would like to have just a little more time to finesse them. But now I'm getting to that point where actually I do have more time to finesse.
So you should suggest to purchase better trees?
No, I think just less early on.
Okay.
Just enough to learn on, and then start really acquiring what you want.
Not buy like 600 trees and
Right.
like they're all little whips, and then you're like.
But the other thing is also the other thing I love to do. My father built me a greenhouse when I was a teenager to grow orchids in, and my mother actually left the door of the orchid greenhouse open one winter and killed all the orchids. So instead, I decided to propagate things like impatiens and ferns and stuff like that in this greenhouse. And so when I was a teenager, I used to love to propagate things, and now that hasn't stopped. So whenever I get ficus cuttings or even juniper cuttings, I often will say, "Oh, I can make a cutting of that," and that can get out of hand. You spend a lot of time tending to the propagated material.
So you're saying maybe the skill set of propagation it's important.
It is a very important thing to learn, but don't overdo it.
I like that one. Awesome. So do you have any trees of provenance that you have or you own?
Yes, I have some of Ted Matson's trees, the curator from the Huntington, California juniper here. I have a pair of male and female Yopon hollies from him, and an olive. Actually, some ficuses too. I have a bunch of stuff from him.
So what's special about the California juniper? I mean, we'll start with that.
Ted dug this, I think 25 years ago. He styled it. It's been in shows. I think he said it was even a magazine, a picture of it. And it sat in his backyard for a while and didn't do much, and so I've repotted it and I'm bringing it back. I hope to show it maybe next year. We'll see.
It's an awesome tree. Really nice, really refined.
and also I think kind of dramatic, especially the lean-to on that is it'll be a little challenging figuring out how to show it, but on a a 3-foot table, but I'll figure something out.
All right, let's...
This is a tree that Harry Harald dug. He left it in a pot, and it ended up in Lake Merritt collection, and they put it up for sale for auction at the GSBF, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. So I got it. I was told it was in a pot for 25 years, so it was gnarly when I repotted it. And it's coming along now. I made new dead wood and restyled it, and it's a little bit simple, but I think it makes a striking composition.
All right, go for it.
This is my, I think, maybe most special ficus. I've developed the branches pretty much all myself. It came in a big tub from Louisiana. I got it as a trade with Elliot Farkas, who's passed away a while ago. At any rate, so it's a memory tree for my friend Elliot. And
what kind of tree is it?
It's a Ficus salicaria, otherwise known as a willow leaf ficus. One of the easier ones to grow. This one has, I think, particularly nice nabari and some aerial roots. So it's one of my favorite trees also.
Louisiana, though. Did you?
That's what I was told he got it from, Louisiana.
A pot grown, ground grown?
Ground grown, I think.
Okay.
If you look at it, the nabari is pretty wide, so I suspect that wasn't grown in a pot. It would have been a huge pot to get that kind of nabari.
Cool.
This is a tree from Ted Matson, Yopon holly, the male. This tree apparently has been in a magazine and a couple of shows, at least a California Bonsai Society show. And I got it from Ted about 3 years ago. Very healthy. I'm still in the process of reshaping it a little bit, but I'll probably be able to show this next year.
Beautiful tree.
Okay, another legacy tree. This is from Kathy Benson. Cork elm. Has yet to be repotted. I just got it. So, keeping it refined and trim until next year, when I'll probably restyle it a little bit and repot it. And lastly, a tree I dug up in a garden in Altadena. There was a set of English myrtles. A bunch of us came in and dug up a bunch of old ones, and this has been being developed over about pretty much the whole 18 years I've been doing bonsai. So there's my history. Here are some of my Shohin bonsai. Small ficus, some Nias, buttonwoods, and some maybe Chuhin size as well. I do like to do a lot of small things as well, partly because I'm getting older and it's hard to lift things, but also I like the miniaturization projects. You can get very interesting Shohin in a little less time than a large tree by developing yourself. I'm going to have a lot more Shohin upstairs, so let's go up there and take a peek. Let's see, this is a Bert Davii Nana variety tree, which I got, I think, maybe 15 years ago. I bought it at the Huntington, and honestly, I can't remember who I bought it from. It's pretty well developed now. The skin is almost completely covered of wounds, which takes a long time to do. Branch development is fairly done on this, so, and it's in a Vicky Chamberlain pot. Thank you.
Hey.
I love Vicky Chamberlain.
What's the
pots.
difference between a Nana? People that don't understand or don't have ficus. Difference between the Nana and the regular Bert Davii.
Well, this is the one that you see most frequently, the Nana. I think this is what people would call the regular Bert Davii.
Oh, that's a regular Bert Davii.
Yeah, Nana. There are two other varieties. Right there, that Cascade is the long folio version.
You're gonna grab that when you get your...
Some of the leaves are reduced and some of them are not.
You can't lift that up. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's Nana. It's much smaller leaves, of course. The Nana.
These are actually elongated. They have different berries. It grows faster. This does grow in the ground more easily. The Nana is the prettier one. It gets the really small miniaturization of the leaves.
Ooh, that one has air roots. Look at that. Check that out. The air roots right there. That's kind of cool.
Oh yes, two big ones. Actually,
Yeah.
I had three at one point, but one of them died. This is a this came from Weigert's originally, and then it went to Dragon Tree Bonsai in Florida, and he sold it to me, I think, for honestly $50 because he couldn't get it to grow there. It's too wet in Florida for these things. That's one of the reasons why Weigert's doesn't have a lot of large ones.
That's so ironic. It's too wet. You think of ficus of that want to have that moisture, the
There's
humidity.
there's too much, especially in the cooler months. If those get like a whole lot of water in the cooler months, they won't do very well.
Wow.
And there's a third variety too, and it gets much bigger leaves. That's this one. It's called Normal.
Normal.
Yeah. So that's why I said, you
Take a step back really quick. Just take a step back so we can a little more.
Into the sun.
Yeah. Okay. So it is it's a much bigger leaf. Oh yeah.
No, I have not miniaturized this. I haven't trimmed it this year. Well, not since winter.
But the leaf are almost almost like inch versus.
Right, but you can see here they will miniaturize
Oh, okay.
if you keep after it. I've not kept after this one. This is more. I'm just keeping this as a specimen.
Oh, that's interesting.
Actually, it's got a pretty nice trunk.
I presume you like ficuses.
I do, and because you can do a lot of things with them, including as I showed in the Baikoen demo last week. I do fusion with ficuses, and they take it really easily and quickly. So you can build interesting trees really quickly, and kind of these interesting nabaris that you don't get otherwise. If you grow a straight trunk out of those, you'll get a kind of straight nabari, boring. But if you
kind of braid it
and stuff and braid them, then you can make much more interesting trunks and nabari.
Is there any benefit of growing ficus in California versus like somewhere you think because they're really subtropical trees?
Yeah, that's right. Well, for instance, you're talking about aerial roots. You don't get them here unless you have a greenhouse. There are a few people I think have put sphagnum moss and stuff like that and got some small ones, but usually they wither. I've had some that I brought from Florida that had aerial roots, and if they were small enough, they'll dry up and die eventually.
Oh, so is it?
There's not enough humidity for that. We do have more temperate circumstances. Some of these don't really like having 150 degrees what you get in Florida.
Do you get scorches like leaf scorch, just like maples?
Yeah, absolutely. And you get bark burn.
That's something I learned. It's something I learned.
You can get a sunburn on the bark, especially on the smoother ones.
Okay.
It'll turn red or orange.
And it'll burn basically.
Right. And if you let it go for too long, it'll eventually the bark will die there.
Interesting. Would you mention we're on the rooftop, so this is
yes.
You wouldn't expect a bonsai person to put trees on. At least step back here on the rooftop.
I hear it's popular in Japan and Tokyo because there's not enough space.
And that's part of the reason why you built extended in your garden to the.
I needed more sun. The downstairs area only gets maybe 2 or 3 hours of sun in any place, maybe 4 in the middle of that driveway, but. Up here you get 6 or 8 hours, and that's a lot better especially for tropicals. The junipers are much happier up here. The cedars I protect a little bit.
That's what the shade cloth.
They do like a lot of sun in the winter. So.
Do you get any frost?
No,
okay.
No frost. I used to be able to. I had an apricot tree in the ground that I used to be able to get apricots off. Now I don't get enough chill hours.
Oh, that's interesting.
So which is actually better in terms of growing ficuses. Usually tropicals below 40 degrees, you have to protect them. And these I haven't had to, except for the most tender, like buttonwoods.
No.
So I don't really have to protect too many of them. That's a good thing about this area.
Yeah.
It's temperate here.
See,
so that's another reason why. Here there are some advantages to growing tropicals here, and some advantages to growing it in tropical places like Florida or Puerto Rico.
Oh. Well, Mediterranean climate, right? We're kind of in that.
I think it's a sweet spot.
I think it is a sweet spot. Let's go downstairs and look at your other trees.
Okay.
Well, if you have any questions for Mitch, Mitch will be here. I'll leave I'll leave your contact information on Facebook, YouTube.
Sure. I'm not on Facebook.
Okay, so you do.
Yeah. I'm not on Facebook.
You can contact me if you want to contact Mitch, and I'll pass along the information to you. How's that?
You can leave my email.
Oh, I can do that on the description below. Thank you, Mitch, for your time today. And then if you have any questions, of course, email Mitch. I bet he'll be happy to answer everything.
Thanks, Tom.